I met Argenis at Southwestern Community College in San Diego, sometime around 2003. He was always the one that had a better concert story, who always managed to sneak backstage after shows. I remember him once trying to get me a job at the UCD store where he was working. I still remember being nervous as I filled out an application with that classic impossible question: what are your 3 favorite bands? He is now a concert promoter and event organizer in Tijuana. Although I stopped seeing him after I transferred out of community college, I still kept up with him on Facebook. Over the years, I saw him create a music festival and watched as the show got bigger and the lineup got better year after year. Recently, I've followed along with excitement as he brings some of my favorite bands to Tijuana. Since I've known him, Argenis has never stopped pursuing his love for music and concerts. And yet, I'm left full of nostalgia for a Tijuana that is no longer mine, and will probably never be so again. Talking to him now was like going back to visit your old high school in a dream, and seeing how everything is just slightly off, and realizing just how out of touch you are with something that was once so dear. This is rich chocolatey goodness. All right.
Okay.
Hello, Argenis.
Hi, Pedro. How you doing?
Very good. Uh, this is a very bad way to start because we have to have all this formal conversation before, and I have to hide my excitement.
Okay.
I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited to talk to you because I don't know how long it's been.
It's been more than 10 years.
Yeah, definitely. For example, you didn't know that my shoulder dislocates easily, did you?
No, I don't know.
That's something that happened at the end of college, and it's something that happened last week.
So it's something that happens constantly?
Yes, right now I'm in my closet wearing a sling, and I'm doing all of this single-handedly.
What? So it's just the way you are built?
Yeah, defectively.
Cool. I mean,
No,
could be worse.
I don't know, man. It hurts a lot. It hurts a lot, and it's very often.
Oh, I don't know. That sucks. I don't know. I don't know where you at.
I've been keeping this a mystery on purpose.
Oh, really? Well, why? You
Well,
becoming a
my
superhero?
location, just so it'd be fun, so I could tell you about it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think after Southwestern, that was when I lost track of you. Like, I don't know what happened.
Yes, Southwestern College, our old community college.
Yes, and which I didn't finish. I was one of those, like there was a lot of dropouts from that, and I was one of those. To me, it was weird because I had just finished high school in Tijuana at Lázaro, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna go to college in the U.S. And then when I got there, everything that they were teaching me was like high school level. And then I was trying to become a journalist, so I took English, and then my English teacher was pretty rough on my first paper, and she was like, you need to take English as a first language in order to write properly, because this is incoherent." And that kind of like bummed me out, and I was like, I don't want to go to school here anymore. And I went back to college, but in Mexico, and I studied communications, which is kind of like a journalism and visual arts type of stuff. It's just like a bunch of, like a little bit of everything. It's just a weird career to take on. And yeah, and I think after that, I probably saw you like a couple of times, and then I don't know what happened.
Yeah, community college is a trap.
Yes.
Especially when you're coming from Mexico, because yeah, it's so hard. You're going across. You were going across the border, right?
Yeah, every time, every day.
Oh yeah, you put all that effort, and the classes are so just mind-numbing. Not all of them.
Yeah.
There's somebody, there was a teacher there that I'm actually trying to get to be a guest on this show. He was a philosophy teacher, Peter Boland.
Oh, really?
I like that we immediately went into the stories. That's good. But I haven't even explained. I love it. It makes me feel good that you trust me. And you just like came on the show. I didn't even explain what it's like, and you're telling me about your life. This is a comedy podcast, Argenis. All right, we don't need your your sad stories.
I thought you said.
I didn't finish college.
You know, I had to go back to Mexico to get a degree in some bullshit career.
No, this is exactly what this whole thing is about.
I think it's a good idea, dude. Like it feels like I think it could work.
The whole point is that I'm trying to catch up with old friends because this thing with Facebook, you know, I'm not the first one to say it. It's a cliche, but it gives you the illusion of being in contact with all these people. And then I feel like all I end up doing is just sharing stupid cat pictures and things like that. And that level of proximity means that I never go into any deep conversation. And it comes to the point where I know that you have children. I know that you brought King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard to Tijuana, which is fucking incredible. It makes me so excited.
Yeah.
But I don't, I have no idea what's been going on with your life. And now that we're talking, it's been so long. So the point is that, trying to catch up, trying to hear what you don't know. You don't know that right now I'm in my closet in Paris.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know you were in Paris.
Yeah.
I can feel a little bit of a French accent. I don't know. I think you were friends with one guy that always spoke with like the R, like he was French, but he wasn't French.
So that was me.
That wasn't you. It was somebody else.
No, I had the messed up R. Since I was a kid, I could never say the R correctly in Spanish.
Correct?
Yeah. And I found that the easiest solution, I got tired of it, and I just moved to France. And, everything. I enrolled in a communications program, and I got a degree, and now I'm doing a podcast.
Oh, nice. So yeah, that's how you do it. You go against your biggest problem, and it becomes your shield and your sword.
Speech therapy, that's life. Stupid. I'll just learn a new language and struggle for 3 years in a new country.
That's cool. That's cool.
All right. So, as you know, the title of this podcast is Rich Chocolaty Goodness.
Yes.
And I asked you to read an excerpt from The Crying of Lot 49. And you said you'd already read the book, so that made it even easier. So do you get the idea behind behind this rich chocolatey goodness, the title?
A little bit. Like, here's the thing. Like, I remember reading that book. I remember buying that book from Amazon. I remember the name of the characters, Oedipa, and all that. And then I realized, like, I don't remember anything about the book.
Well, I bought that book on a trip to London because I went there with my wife to visit. We're gonna spend.
You're married?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know you were married.
Well, that's why I'm in Paris.
Oh, okay.
It was a lie. It wasn't because of the speech impediment.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you went to a honeymoon and you stayed there?
No, she's French.
Oh, she's French. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, she was a French teacher.
Okay.
At the university that I had just left. So I went back to Santa Barbara and I enrolled in a master's PhD program. On my second year, there was a Portuguese lecturer that came to the building, and we became very good friends. His name's also Pedro. And then I left because I don't know what the hell I wanted. And I was going to go to Korea. I was going to go teach English in Korea. So then at that moment, my wife became the French lecturer at the university. I wasn't there anymore. And my friend Pedro and her became good friends because it was all in the same building. And all the foreigners go outside the building to smoke. Anyway, so my friend kept saying, "Oh, you should meet my friend Pedro. You'd like him." And we met. and we liked each other. And she had to come back. I'm making the story short, but it's a lot more romantic than that. She had to come back. I said, "All right, I'll go with you," and it's a little bit scary for her because we'd only been going out for like 3 months, and I got a job here. I came here, and then everything worked out. Like it was a
Cool.
it was a big gamble, and it worked out, and yeah, now I'm sitting in our closet.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I was in a boat and I bought the book, and there was a part where he says rich chocolatey goodness, and I say, hey, that sounds good. And I'm gonna make a show that's called Rich Chocolatey Goodness. End of story.
Okay, cool. So I wrote a book.
Huh?
No.
Tell me all about it.
No. But anyway, so it's been crazy. It's been exciting, but it also has been scary and um, like I guess it's like if I can. I mean, it's just been what life is. It's just like a bunch of experiences together. So I guess I think so. After I was done with college, I my sister was starting to go to get a no. She was trying to go to Barcelona. She's a chef, and I just came back from Coachella, and I was broke, and everyone was like kind of like pitching in to like making breakfast and making ruffles and all that to just get some funding for her, and I didn't know what to do, so I threw a party at the place where we used to throw parties at my parents' house, where you played once, and that thing turned into a festival, which got me into some interesting things. Like we were able to pull it off for 5 years, 6 years actually, and then I started like, and everything was. I mean, it was hard. It was hard because the first year was pretty unorganized, and then the second year was a little bit better. The third year was better, and by the fourth year, we were kind of like on a slump. We didn't know what to do. Like it was kind of like we were hitting the same mark on the ticket sales, and and it felt like it was gonna be impossible for us to grow unless we invested a lot of money. And by the fifth year, I found this beautiful place in the beach. It was called Castillos del Mar, which is where I actually work now. And I went to this meeting, and it was kind of like the worst speech I ever done. It was I was it was in front of rich and famous people of Tijuana, and it was just like
I'm just imagining the characters, the rich and famous of Tijuana.
yeah, like like
You don't have to say names, but I can imagine people.
yeah, like but like just like the ones that want to have like a good PR uh Tijuana face, and I just blew it. It was just horrible. And but somehow like this guy came up to me and said like, hey, your project sounds interesting, you want to do it on my property. And it was like this beautiful um, render of a beach club in Rosarito, which I never seen before. I didn't know it existed there. And we've been trying to move the festival to the beach, but we tried to imply us, but it was hard. And then like so we found this place, and on 2014 we we did it. We did the festival and at the beach, and it was kind of like it was. no, it wasn't kind of like, it was totally overwhelming. Just how it was. There was a couple of things. Like one of them was um, was the fact that people reacted so positively to the festival, which has been like, you know how Tijuana is sometimes hard to convince people to do. Uh, I mean, to enjoy what they have. It was just like it was hard, and with this festival, it was kind of like all that bad energy um, move away. Everyone was really exciting. Everyone felt like the festival has had so so much future, and just, you know, like everything was doing great, and and everyone enjoyed it. Everyone was happy. The organizers were happy. My partners were happy. Everyone was happy. And but I guess I got a little too happy because I think the festival was on Saturday, and by Monday, when I received the preliminary numbers of what we have done on sales, it was the first time we were on the greens. We actually made some money, or that's what the they told me, and I went crazy. I had a mental breakdown that it lasted for like a month.
Wait, wait, because are you like using hyperbole, or did you have like a real mental breakdown?
No, no, it's a real mental breakdown. I was in the hospital and everything.
Oh shit! Was it
Yeah.
wait, but why? Because it went well.
Um, so I don't know. It's something that I have analyzed a long time, and it's something that it actually like it leaves you a scar. But it's kind of like so when I went to therapy afterwards and I talked about this, it was kind of like it was kind of like when you fly too close to the sun and when you think that you made it, you know, like now nothing can go like we found like we finally made the festival work because we were having losses and it was like so much pressure, and it was kind of like, and I most of the pressure I put on myself, you know, and it was kind of like, you know, like trying to become to make something out of nothing, and just like, you know, like all that pressure of becoming like successful, or like having to prove to my parents or to myself that I'm like that I was doing something that was worth uh investing on and worth, you know, like doing it. And every time we threw the festival and we failed and we um didn't even got even, you know, it was kind of like, oh, we finally found like a way to make this profitable, to make this something that I can, you know, that I can uh, work on for the rest of my life. You know, like it was such a personal project that it was just kind of like, I don't know, it just it it I think to me was that, and it's funny um because it reminded me a lot of the the first project that I ever had, which was a fanzine, and it was called La Gaceta de Icaro, which is like this this myth about a guy who flies too close to the sun, and then his wings are made of wax, and he the wings melt and all that, you know. And I felt like that was kind of like what was happening to me in some point, like, you know, like just feeling that that feeling that it was like that we made it, you know,
Why did
and
you
we
choose
actually.
that? Why did you choose that name for the first one? You think there was something back there that kind of told you that if I ever get too close?
I don't know. It was a character that I find really interesting. At the point, it was I was in the first years of high school when I did that fanzine, but I don't know. It kind of like got stuck in my head. Anyway, so we were like, I was, yeah. it was crazy. The mental breakdown thing is like, if I could explain it, it's kind of like being on, like, you don't notice it at all, because you feel like you feel like super, like you feel invincible, and you feel like you're like you can do whatever, and then like things on reality start shaking, like on your way, like you could go to you start thinking that, no, I don't know how to explain it, but you can almost you're thinking so much fast that that you can start seeing outcomes that are that are uh, that are possible, and most of the time, because like there's so many outcomes that you can see, like you're gonna think that you're right, and but it's just your mind going 1,000 miles per hour, and we and I ended up in the hospital on the 22nd of June. I came out on the 23rd, but I was hospitalized for that um, that day, and then for a month I started going to a psychiatrist, and then they gave me pills, and they got me like really really depressed, and 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 on the middle of that, I found out my girlfriend was pregnant, and we decided to go on it, and that kind of like changed everything. It was like, if you look backwards, probably wasn't like my it wasn't the brightest moment, but I mean, I'm so happy now that I don't even care what time I took that decision. My baby daughter is like the best thing that ever happened to me, and my wife is just amazing. So I'm 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 good now, but it is like something that so it was kind of like on 2014 we did the festival. I went nuts. No, most people couldn't like understand what was happening, um, and uh, the next year, I mean, so that was on June. By March, um, Ariana, my baby daughter, was born, and the festival was coming up like in 3 months. So the my partners and I decided that I wasn't like fit to work under so much pressure, and it was true. And my mind was other, like it was just thinking of how to survive, how to have a regular job, and like being a promoter is kind of like being a professional uh better, like a professional betting
Gambler?
gambler, professional gambler, that's the word. Yeah. So I didn't participate on the 2015 one, and that kind of hurt, because I felt like at that point the festival was like, we there was so much expectation because we did so well uh, the year before, and everyone was hype, and then I didn't curate that lineup that much. I wasn't like so much on top of it, and and for example, and we didn't sold much tickets. It was kind of like a total. We had to give away tons of tickets on the 2015, and that almost, like, I mean, I felt like that was the reason we was one of the reasons we stopped doing the festival, and it was kind of like it was kind of like it was that, and then a bunch of other combinations, but I feel like that one like killed my partner's ideas of doing something in Baja. And then the next year, my partners lost their sponsorship beer, and they decided to cancel all my friends. And then by 2017, I got this job that I was gonna move to Monterrey, and with all my family and all that shit. And I told my partners like, "Hey, I'm planning on moving to Monterrey," and then And he was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And that was it. I wasn't like, "Hey, I'm moving to Monterrey next week," or like, "I'm moving to Monterrey." Like it was just like a thing that I told him, and then he went. Um, he went with without me, and he did a festival, which in the same venue that we did All My Friends, and with the same people that we do All My Friends. It was just kind of like he went around my bag and he didn't tell me, and I was working for that venue. It was kind of like it was kind of messy in a way. And then they did that festival, and at the end of the day, we ended up our partnership and that time. And then I went to Coachella because one of the bands that played All My Friends in 2012, those blenders, they're from Mexico City.
Yes, I love those guys. I was so excited when I wasn't in Tijuana at the time, but I saw the lineups. Like, what?
Yeah, so they invited me to go to Coachella, and I've been to Coachella like plenty of times, and but I never experienced it as a artist guest. And this is like I know people that hate festivals now, but it's only because they're old. Like we get older, we need to experience festivals in a different way. Like if you love music and you keep going as a fan after 30 or something years, you get tired. You get like, yeah, like you need to if you love music so much, you probably should be working on it, and making it your living, and or some way, like try to find ways to get in for free. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know
I'm
and to
I'm
enjoy different.
still not giving up on that dream.
Yeah. And so we went there, and it was amazing to be driving around from stage to stage on a band, which is like it was just like it was crazy. And on top of that, I I did LSD, and that kind of like uh, that was that was the wrong combination of excitement, and I had a second mental
Oh
breakdown.
man, there's too many people at
And
Coachella. Like I remember specifically thinking when I was there, it's like, how can people take the hard drugs in this environment? It's hot.
yeah, and it wasn't like to be honest, it was like we spent like half of the day on the pool, and I did it, and then like we got to Coachella at night. We weren't like on the bunch of the crowd. It was just the fact again of thinking of all my friends, and just like the idea of this festival needs to happen, because at the end of the day, bigger festivals nurture from smaller festivals to fill their lineups. Because it works almost like a minor league system. Like you need to have those. And because of one of my friends, he works for Coachella, and he was like, and he had his stage and all that stuff, and I felt like, yeah, we need to have all my friends in order that we have more bands in the lineup, and people. Um, I mean, now we have. I mean, I felt like we could have an input. Like it took us like 5 to 7 years to be able to do that, and again, it got in my head. It was just like, yeah, well, we have to. And so I focused a lot on making all my friends again, and everything was like, yeah, we should do it. And I created a the thing about the mental breakdowns is that it almost like being, I don't know if you have been, I don't I haven't been, but I felt like I it gets you weirdly focused, but it also a lot of chaos. And maybe you can get creative and stuff. And so we created business plans. We created a plan for investors. We found a new venue. We were like really close again to bring it back. And we went to a couple of investors. They gave us a cold shoulder, and then one was like, "I'm ready. I'm gonna do it." And then this fucking asshole registered the name of all my friends in LA, and that's where we at.
Right. So I didn't want to bring up the name because I wasn't sure if there was some legal issue. Um, so yeah. So to clarify, this festival that you were talking about that started in your house, it's called the All My Friends Festival.
All My Friends Music Festival, yes.
You don't know this guy. This is a separate dude
This is a
in
separate, yeah,
LA
it's a separate guy.
who claims he'd never heard of your All My Friends Music Festival.
I mean, yeah, so this is what's weird. I'll tell you this story. Well, the thing when you're on a mental breakdown is that you see everything with so much clarity, but the other people can't see it the way you see it, right? And because they know you're in this state, they don't take you that seriously. But I remember clearly that I told one of my closest friends, he's from San Diego. His name is. I remember clearly, like I told him, dude, we need to register the name. Please help me with everything that's on the US side, so I don't have to worry about that. And and I don't blame him. Like I don't blame anyone. It was all my fault. But I just remember that because it's kind of like the thing that I knew. Like when you're in that state, and I told you, like you see things coming, right? And I felt like we should have protected ourselves from that, and we didn't. And then this happened, and now we're on a legal battle to try to get the name back.
So did the festival happen? The one in LA?
Yeah, it did happen.
So they already had one.
Yeah.
And did you get, well, should we stop talking? Is there any sort of legal thing where you shouldn't I don't want
No, I mean, if you have any questions, I can tell you.
to. Did you get any feeling like, was this a like a real misunderstanding? I mean, the chances are small. If you're a music promoter, concert promoter, chances are he would have heard of your festival. But do you think this was
Well,
like
here,
capitalizing on the fact that there was already an existing festival, or just an honest mistake?
no, it was totally. It was to me. It's totally with that intention. It felt like. I mean, when I contacted him earlier before he got the registration and told him to stop
Ah,
because we have a festival. And then I knew some people at the organization he used to work at that knew about my festival. And then to make things even crazier, um, on this Coachella, I've been working there now on small things, but I work with a friend and who's really close with the directors and shit, and we met the guy who puts the show together, and we were walking around just talking about the state of festivals and everything, and then I saw this guy, and he goes like, "Oh, there he is," and I was like, "You want me to introduce?" And I was like, "Yeah, like I mean, I've been to this festival for 14 years. This guy is one of my, like someone I look up to. Of course, I want to meet him." And he knew about my festival, which is a small festival in Tijuana, and he's like, he has the biggest festival in the world besides I don't know what Glastonbury, and he knew about the festival. So to me, it's like, come on, you have the internet now. You put All My Friends Music Festival, it comes up, you know. And you can say it was a small festival because of the people that attended it, but I mean, we were on Pitchfork, we were on Rolling Stone, Vice, and every media that matters on music, we were on it.
yeah. I mean, that was basically even more than Facebook because you don't post too often. That was basically how I knew what you were up to. It's like, oh shit, Argenis got. Didn't you bring Los Planetas or
Yeah,
was it what the fuck? That was
yeah,
like I was just like, all right, he's doing great. He's doing great. Like the lineup's getting better each year.
yeah.
All right. So then what happened? So you're not doing it anymore.
No, so we're right now on the process of trying to get the name back together. And the biggest problem here is not the name. I mean, it is the name, but what I want to say is like the fact that they don't understand how important for us is to be able to promote in San Diego and LA. And not only because of ticket selling, but also because that's where the artists are. You know, like you have. I mean, the agencies are there. So like, and it happened like when we promoter when when we are negotiating with artists, like uh, we could ask if we also do the LA festival, which is like it's not only a liability for me, it's a liability for them too. You know, like I don't understand why they went that route. Like to me, it's just malicious. But anyway, um, with him, we started a new festival. It's called Wacoya, and it started this year in Ensenada and Baja Seasons, which is like in Las Salinas. And that's our new baby project, and we're trying to build it to become something great. And we did it this year, and it's more inclined on electronic music, but we're trying to figure it out yet what we want to do with it.
All right. Yes, I was going to ask that. I briefly saw that it was electronic. Um, what's happened in TJ? Because I mean, when I left, there was that little resurgence. I guess it was already dying, but the whole thing with Nortec, and there was a specific moment for electronic music. Uh, and then came rock, and then I don't know. You were in the scene. What's going on right now? I've heard of Jardín. I love those guys.
So basically, when we started doing it, all my friends, there was a lot of bands, and most of them don't play anymore, or they have changed their names, or changed members, or members have different projects, and most of that was happening in downtown, and Centro probably, yeah, like most of it was based on downtown, and um, that's how they keep they keep playing there. They keep producing music, putting out. It was it was fairly like there was a bunch of bands that were like doing shows, doing promo, doing everything. Some of them moved to Mexico City, and some of them started doing shows in LA and San Diego, and it was kind of like got the it wasn't as cohesive as when we started AMF. It was kind of like here and there as far as music sound and quality and all that. But then this last year, um, people, I mean, the actual movement of new musicians and new bands and new sounds is happening on the east. The east of Tijuana has like bands of 15, 16, 18, like 21 years old, and they have shows, they have their own festivals, they have their own sound, they have their own aesthetics, and it's like it's another city. It's finally happening because you think about it. When we talk about the East as the new side of Tijuana, we've been talking about it for 18 years, so it makes sense now that on that side, kids want to start playing music and doing shows and having a venue and all that stuff. So the city's so big now that really, really concert culture is happening on the east side,
So
and it's really
downtown is just
exciting.
like for people our age that we just kept going to the same spot.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And they do make shows here, the people on the east side, but yeah, I mean, like just listen to the band and see what's up. You know, it's just it's a new generation, and I'm excited to hear what they're saying.
I heard. I don't remember how I heard Jardín. I think somebody must have posted something on Facebook. I don't know, but I got very emotional because I was so far. I'm here in Paris, and I felt so far away because the age, just everything was so distant. It's like a completely different Tijuana, you know.
Yeah,
And it made me feel so good. Like there's such. I mean, they had that one single that was very catchy, and then but they look like they're very good musicians. And
yeah.
I showed it around some friends here, and they were all very very excited about it too.
That's the thing. Like the the musicianship has gone better. I felt like, and I mean, to me, the like, and that's including Jardín, Ramona, Entre Desiertos. They all have like great musicians on their lineup, and yeah, I think it's great because they can feel like a 300-400 venue by themselves and only with locals, you know,
Wow.
and and that's something that other bands that have like even more years playing are unable to do. So good for them, and I'm happy that's happening. And and yeah, like I just feel like um, I mean, to me, like the best band that I heard in a while here in Tijuana is not even from Tijuana; it's from Ensenada. It's a band called Tajak.
What is it?
Tajak is Tajak,
Okay.
and
I'll look it up.
they've been touring Europe lately. And I saw them like last was I think it was last July, and they blew my mind. They were so good because it's crazy, but this, which has been the most difficult year as far as as a legal thing that we have on our fucking roof, which is it's really stressing and just like takes a lot of space in my head. Um, it's also been a great year as far as what we've been able to do. Like we also did like this crazy show with Billy Joe Armstrong and Mustache, the guy from Green
Dude,
Day.
what the hell? I keep looking at like oh man, I blanked out. Was those guys? They were touring with King Gizzard. I don't know, that mustache bar. All of a sudden, like I remember, it's so small in the back, and they have these crazy guests. Like, what the hell?
It was in Mile High Club.
Yes, Mile High Club. Yes,
Yeah,
like it's
yeah,
just it feels so strange. Like I saw them here at Bataclan,
yeah,
and to think that they were at the mustache bar, it's
yeah.
insane.
The Mustache great. I mean, and then they also Mile High Club play Coachella too. And they play another festival that was happening, TJ Rumble Fest too. So yeah, the thing with the mustache is that it has like an essence of uh, of an old venue, but it's a fucked up venue. So
Yeah, like it makes me think of it doesn't matter how old I am. If being out there makes me think of being 18 and like setting up your drums, gonna do a shitty
yeah,
show. Not shitty, but like not
yeah,
professional.
like yeah, like a house
And I
show.
don't mean it in term like in disrespect, because I'm impressed at the acts that I've seen just on Facebook that they bring. It's just that maybe it's because I was that old and that's the image I have in my head. But I transport myself to that space, and that's like a young improvised concert space for me.
Yeah, it is. It is. And fun fact, we were the first that did a show at the patio, and we did Bitch Fossils in 2011, which was huge. At the time, like I mean, that band ended up blowing up, but
Never
um,
heard of it. I'm
you
embarrassed.
didn't hear of them?
No.
They're like it's I mean it's a cool band. You can listen to it. They're from New York, from Brooklyn, and at the time Brooklyn was doing uh, great as far as bands, and we did it, and we had to break a wall in order to make the show happen. And yes, so we did that show, and I mean they had her Mars Superstar there. They had this band with Macaulay Culkin on it.
Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't happy about that. The disrespecting the Velvet Underground. It's not cool.
And then they had some other bands, but I think the biggest show they throw there is the Billy Joe Armstrong show. It was just like it was crazy. It was such a surreal experience. The guy showed up and he was like, "Oh, well, this is really punk rock." And I was like, "Yeah."
Unlike you. Now put on your makeup.
And I was like, "Yeah," and and you know how it is. Like the artist is always cool, but the management is always worried. They were they were asking about security and all that stuff, and it was like, and they were worried. And the thing is that I don't know why, but the audience in Tijuana is probably the best in the country as far as the way they behave.
I don't think Plastilina Mosh would agree, but
That's such an old reference, and
I wonder how
uh,
many
like
people will get that.
like I mean like come on, it was probably someone not from here that did that. No, like it is a thing. Like they behave so well during Billy's set, the long shot, and at the end of the show, they were just singing his name, asking him for pictures, and it was just like people flew from Mexico City to the show, from everywhere. The so the I mean, it's only a 250,
Yeah, how many people fit in that place?
250, but it was kind of like it sold out. It sold out in in 24 hours. I think it was crazy. It was crazy, and he was super nice, and we brought him tacos, and he was happy. And
That was actually the last place I visited. I mean, I didn't. It wasn't intentionally, but right before since the whole decision to move here to Paris was very quick, I said like, all right, well, I need to show you Mexico at least once, and I know it's not Mexico, but you need to come to Tijuana, and we'll do an express trip. You need to, like, go to Taconazo and like get some good food. And we went to Mustache that night, and then Cuatro Amigos, just a quick tour of the bars. And who did I run into? Some of the guys from Ambiente. I think I saw Julio.
yeah, probably.
Yeah, so I have that like memories kind of fresh of my last visit to Tijuana.
Yeah, and then yeah, it's crazy. The city is in a weird state right now. It's just
Like always.
like always. Yeah, it's always like transitioning into something, and you don't know what's going on. Yeah. So when I guess going back to like stepping away a little from about the music, I so when my wife was pregnant, we lived in downtown. It was kind of weird because I never lived there, and it was, I mean, it was different. And then we moved to her mother's house at Hipódromo, and right now we're living at the same house that we used to throw my friends at. With my parents left, and they have another house, and now we're living here. So we're living in the same house that you play.
Oh, that's the place, the living room where. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. That's where we live right now.
Well, oh man. Okay, so I'm excited that you brought that up, because that's like, I mean, how do I frame this? Um, one of the many reasons why I wanted to do the show is that, like, I've been struggling, and there's some petty feelings of not anger, but like envy, and just like you were saying, like life gets hard. It's just life, and I'm just looking around, and I see all my friends that are kind of they seem to be so clear along their path, and like they know what they're doing, and I feel like I've made so many false starts, and I go do one thing, and I like come back and I do something else.
I mean, is this based on actual conversation or just what you see on social media?
Exactly. So I know, like, that that it's not true, but you can't help it because that's the only thing you're consuming. So
Yeah,
so on the one hand, there's the petty side of uh I need something to push me to do better. But on the other, that was really the motivation. Like, I need to know what my friends are doing. But just looking at like, I didn't know that you'd gone through all that trouble. To me, it was just like up, 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 up. Like a lineup keeps getting better every year. Um, and then this thing when I contacted you, because I'm obsessed with King Gizzard right now, and when I saw that they were going to be playing at Marco Disco, I couldn't believe it. And that's when I made that whole connection. Because I remember, so we had our shitty band, Well, it's all right to call it shitty.
It had a it had a cheaty name for
Yeah,
sure.
I don't want to say it, but so we had our band, and I was the drummer, and I will say that 75% of the band's shortcomings came from me being the drummer. But it was definitely fun because it was like, I was playing with my best friends. It was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and that's when we were in community college,
Hmm.
and I remember you, like you were like hell bent on being our manager,
Oh yeah.
and it's like I was like, why? Like we don't we don't need a manager, like first let me learn how to play the drums, and but you were just always on it. You like, hey, I got you a house party, or like you're just trying
Oh yeah.
to.
I did got you like 2 dates.
Yeah, well, there was one house party you got us in San Diego, and I was
Oh yeah.
and I'm not kidding. Like I really needed to learn how to play the drums. I ended up being the drummer because I was the worst guitar player out of everybody. And I and it was like I wanted to play. It was like, well, I want to have fun with my friends. And there was a drum set because Beto was in another band, and they had the drum set there. And then I was like, all right, I guess I'll learn how to play the drums, just so I could keep hanging out with my friends. And and then I ended up loving it. But I was literally learning how to play the drums. So very once they got a new drummer, the band really went up. They did some really cool stuff. I really liked it. Um,
Oh really?
yeah, I mean they weren't my favorite band, but at the very end, they right before they broke up.
Who was in that band? Beto Rodriguez?
Yeah, so it was Beto, Fernando, and Marco.
Marco.
So Fernando was on bass, Beto was like the multi instrumentalist, and Marco,
He was the real talent.
yeah. And then I was just the drummer guy. um, I was the drunk in the band, and then we had some artistic differences with Beto, and Miguel came in.
Miguel from Heretic.
Yeah, from if anybody from Tijuana is listening, from Heretic fame. Before they were Heretic, they were Misery in high school.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
I don't see Miguel that much because I'm sure he's not living here
no, he's
anymore.
in New York.
But he's in New York, I
Yeah,
think. But I seen. I think his name is Ricardo, the other guy.
yeah, he's doing great with the video production.
So I see him a lot. I see him a lot. Like we like the other day I saw him at this Mexican restaurant that opens 24 hours.
You mean just the restaurant in Mexico?
No, it's famous in Tijuana. It's called Restaurante Mexico. It has the most generic name. It's called Restaurante Mexicano 24
All
horas.
right.
So we just call him 24 horas. So it's
That
like,
was like a fake mafia front. Like,
yeah,
legitimate business.
yeah. So, okay, so that was like, I don't remember Beto being in the band. I remember Fernando being in the band, but Beto was probably in the band.
Well, yeah, Beto was not there yet. He was already out. Um, so it was with Miguel that you were trying to get us all those shows.
Oh,
And there was one where I was like, just fucking. I remember you went to practice. It was at my house.
and I fell asleep probably during practice.
You said something like, "It's good, but this guy needs to stop being afraid of the drums." and, and I was so angry at you. Like, you don't fucking say that the day before a show. You don't fucking say that. What kind of a
Dude, asshole of
no?
me. What? I don't know play any
It's the
instrument, and I
truth,
was
man.
like,
That's the reason why it hurt is because it was so true. Because I was like hitting it like, like just insecurity incarnate. And the drums, there's no room for that. You gotta if you're gonna play bad, you might as well do it like Animal. Which is what I ended up doing it. Just
yeah,
just
exactly.
make it raw energy
Yeah,
and have it cover up for your lack of
yeah.
talent at the beginning. You can't do that forever.
Basically, what every drummer does until they get better.
Yeah, until they get better.
Until they
But
get better.
except I didn't want to put in the time to keep going. keep going on that direction. But anyway, so we went to that show. Our very first show was at Bulldog, and I think it was you that got that.
Bulldog. What was that?
It was like in the back of the of Plaza Zapato.
Oh yeah, I think
I
I
think it
think
was you that got us. No, got us that show.
not probably.
And then that was like the biggest rush of my life. Just shitty show, like 8 people there, including the next band. And we played 4 songs, and it was like, what? Just this amazing rush. And it's like what you were saying. It was just trying to be in shows, like not
Yeah.
clearly. I don't have the talent to be part of the show, but it's just like I have to be there. I want to be there. Yeah. But that's what I got. What made me so excited that you were there from the start. Like we didn't need a manager, but like you were like, like practicing. You were doing your own little practice for that. But that party you got us in San Diego, we went across the border, had waited like an hour and a half. We're all like pumping ourselves up, like yeah, we're gonna play a house party. Then we're gonna stay up and get drunk and meet people. And we show up to the address, and it's just like this neighborhood is completely quiet. And we went, like, we called, we went down, and we rang at the door. There was nobody. And we, and we, like, it was just so sad because you made that comment about me being afraid, and I just went into like this panic. And all the other guys were really sweet, like, no, man, like, look, we don't play covers. We're just gonna play our songs. Nobody knows that you don't know how to play because you're only playing what you made up, so it's all right. They were really supportive. And then we get there and there's nothing, and I don't think we ever told you because it was embarrassing.
No, I think that was the reason we did the party here at my house then, because you told me that it was kind of like, hey, like nobody show up, and I felt so bad, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the show in my house, and I'm sure people will show up, and then like you guys can play there, and you guys were really excited to play.
Yeah, the pity show. Yeah, because it was just us, right? It's just like your living room and just us in there.
No, that time people showed up.
Well, yeah, people showed up, but I mean, it was just us as a band. But then the people from Ambiente were there, obviously much, much better musicians. And then like they kind of jokingly like, let me try. And then they did like some good music.
Yeah, I remember that at the show here there were some people.
Yeah, but that was a lot of fun. So that's when that must have been 2004, maybe.
Probably.
So then the next year you did All My Friends there.
No. 2010 was when I did All My Friends.
Okay, 2010. So again, I went this roundabout way, but I got very excited to see that you stuck at it. You went from managing a shitty band, which remain nameless. Not that that was your beginning, but that just shows how committed you were to this. That you were like, yeah, I'll fucking manage these idiots. I'll get them a house party. I'll let them play in my living room.
Yeah.
And and you kept building, and now you're doing that for a living.
Well, half of it, half of my living. It's I'm still semi-professional. I wish I was full. It was a full-time thing, but it could become. It's getting closer. Uh, it's just a matter of. Yeah, it's kind of like it's not easy, and I mean, I've been thinking lately a lot of so, like I told you, like we got some of the best shows we have ever done this year, and then we started with Load, but it also a part of me. It's kind of like I've been thinking a lot of separating what we do in live as far as production and all that stuff, and actually myself moving more to management and do that, and we are probably going to start next year with that as soon as we get the live production uh, settled, because I don't know, I just feel like it's time, like I already know all the in and outs of what they, well, most of the in and outs I want to say of how do you book and manage an artist, and then like I want to do that part more than being stressed over selling tickets.
Well, if we ever do a comeback show, we'll call you.
Yeah, call me. I'll get you a house party pretty soon.
Wait, what are some of the highlights? What are some of the stuff that when you were doing it, you're like, oh shit, I can't believe I got these guys.
What? Of what?
Well, I mean, in all these years that you've been doing this,
Oh, the highlights.
yeah.
Well, definitely. I mean, it wasn't like. I mean, when you're on production, like it's hard to think of highlights. Like it's hard to because you're worried to so much things of what could go wrong, and I mean, and until the show it's over, you you get it's more like it's kind of like a little bit egocentric, and but it's also I'm more like I'm happy to see bands that I book or that we book or that we have had shows and seeing them in other festival and bigger festivals or just seeing that they're doing great. That's always nice. Like like when I saw Los Blenders play or I saw Helado Negro or Princess Nokia play Coachella or like when I saw Chelsea Wolf, touring the whole country and just with Kings of the Stone Age, like that is pretty like exciting. And also exciting is as far as the bands, like I don't think I ever get to enjoy a show as far as like like oh this is great. Like I always have to wait till they come back or till like oh they invite me to a show or something like that. But to me, like the highlight has been like being able to meet like the owner of Coachella. That was to me the highlight because I wouldn't got there if I went all the way with the festival and without the help of my friends, And I don't know, uh, like I went to this backstage once, and this guy came up to me and went like, "Hey, you seen Straight Outta Compton, the movie?"
You ask, is that what he asked you, or you're asking me?
No. Yeah, I asked you.
Okay. No.
No. Well, Paul Giamatti plays this Jewish guy who came to be the the manager of PCE and the NWA.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like this all decked out Jewish guy, and this is in real life. Like this all decked out Jewish guy came to me and was like, "Hey, what's up, Richard? How you doing?" And I was like, "Hey, what's up?" and he was like, "Dude, TDE is going great. TDE is the label of Kendrick Amar." And I was like, "Yeah, man, definitely." He was like, and, and then like he hugged me and he was like, and then he looked at me and was like, "Are you really Richard?" And I was like, "I'm not." It was like, "Oh man, yeah." And then but then it was like, "Oh, I mean, like yeah, that's not me, but that's where I want to be. So at least I'm portraying like like someone I want to be, and I'm at the right place where I can meet this guy who thinks,
People think it when they see you, so you got that aura.
yeah." So that to me it was like super funny, but it also like yeah, like that's that was kind of like the thing. And like my sister now, like she lives in New York and she's doing great as far as the chef, and she has her own life there. And she meets random people and she tells them about all my friends and about his brother, and they know about the festival and they know like that to me is kind of like the satisfaction right there that people still remember something we like like it started back when you guys were playing, like just doing shows, and we started at a house, and yeah,
To help your sister go to study.
yeah, to help my sister, and then she's, like that. That is the most. exciting thing. And to be honest, like in a more selfish way, like at least this year and what I feel like is going to be next year, because I feel like next year is going to be even better as far as the talent that we're going to be able to bring to Tijuana. It's is the fact that when I have a problem with this city and and like most of my friends moved out. Like nobody wants to stay here because it's kind of like it's tough. There's nothing. There's not a lot to do. The exciting things are for the young kids, and um,
Except Del Valle. Everybody, it seems like that's the only thing people do on the weekend.
yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like everyone's moving out. Everyone moves to Mexico City, and that. And I'm still here, so sometimes I feel like maybe I should move out because I have options to move either to LA or to Mexico City, or try it somewhere else. And I think about that a lot, and where I want to be and where I want my daughter to grow up and all that stuff. But I also feel like mm, not a responsibility, but I also feel like at least I have like this romanticized idea that Tijuana should have, like, I mean, because we're so close to San Diego and so close to LA, it should be like the mecca of what's going on in Mexico as far as shows. And at one point it was, and back in the '90s with the Iguanas and how we had like Nine Inch Nails and Nirvana and all those bands played here, and 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 Green Day. And to me, when Billy Joe came and he said like, "Oh, it's been 15 years since I played here," to me that was kind of like testament. It's possible to bring those things back into um, people or bands skip San Diego and do Tijuana instead. And I know it's such a specific goal and such a like personal thing, and it's not like a priority on the city's problems. But at least to me, it's kind of like it's something I aim for. Like I get inspired by that era a lot. And and because it meant it. And I mean, you can see that it's about the bands and about the shows and all that, but it also has a lot to do with the fact that, and I'm sure you're aware of this because you had also have a double life between the U.S. and Mexico. Like it's kind of harsh the way people think of the border and how difficult it is to cross the border, and you're gonna get in trouble if you go there and all that. And I feel like doing this shows and having people cross the border and do that, it makes them realize how fucked up it is, and, how incredible it is that these people spend 3 or 4 hours crossing the border to go there and make a living. And it also creates this idea that it goes beyond that, at least to me. It's something that that it's important that people uh, do that. That they realize that they can't come and visit another country, and if they don't ask like idiots, like they don't do in their own country, they shouldn't be getting in trouble.
Yeah, it could be a very good reason for people to visit and without realizing, having a little cultural learning moment, I guess. Which I guess kind of happened with the
Yeah,
Sexta, when people started going there. But that's going to open a whole new conversation.
yeah.
I think we should pick a title for the episode.
Okay, so I think
All My Friends is too easy. Because I had told you as a joke that I was going to steal that name as the name for this podcast.
I think we should name it Local Heroes.
Local heroes or loco heroes?
I don't know. I don't know.
See, this sounds very very presumptuous, but like whenever you see like, oh my god, this is such a asshole analogy. When you see like, I'm embarrassed to say, but when you see Miles Davis playing.
Do you remember the first time you listened to Miles Davis?
And you see like every musician has their solo,
Yeah,
and they're all incredible musicians.
yeah,
And then Miles Davis has like this thing where I don't know how he does it. He manages to get the essence of each one of those solos, and he's just sitting
yeah,
there like nodding, and he somehow makes a phrase that captures all those. Like you just heard like 20 minutes of solos of different instruments,
yeah,
and he'll find like this one little phrase that brings it all together. It's like, wow, how like.
yeah.
And that's what I want with the title, but it's such a.
I thought you
That's
were
what I'm
going to
asking
come up
you
with
to do.
the title.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So,
So we've talked.
so can you put up a title that it has the artistic value of Miles Davis?
I like local heroes, but we talked about the festival and like pursuing your dreams and disillusion in the middle.
Yeah, and we didn't talk too much about my daughter.
Right. That was a personal decision. I didn't want to. I want to leave people's families out of this, unless, of course, if you want to talk about it.
No, I mean it's cool. I just want to say, like, if she ever listens to this, I love her with all my heart.
All right.
Are you gonna cry? You gotta remember you were a crier.
You remember that?
Yeah,
Wow. I did.
you were one of those.
How do you? When did I cry with you? Because
I just remember you were fucking chillon. That's all I
that's
remember.
crazy. Because I mean, earlier I did tear up while you were talking. No, really, like I told you, like pride and excitement. That it's nice to hear you. Like I am very emotional, but I don't remember ever like.
I remember you had a fame like of that. Like, oh yeah. And probably because Fernando was such an asshole and he was gonna be like, "Ah, este güey es un chillón." Probably because of that.
That's why you remember, or that's why I cried because he said that.
No, I just probably because of that I remember because that's how I knew.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, I think we should name this episode.
For your daughter, I like that idea. We don't have to include her name, but we could do something for her.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
Something that she would understand if she ever gets this. Well, I mean, you're gonna get the copy of this, so.
I think we should name this. I don't know what we should name
All my children.
it. I only have one. No, we should name this Tijuana, mi amor. I don't know.
All right.
Is that a cool name? No.
Is that for her?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Then it's a perfect name. All right.
You gonna interview more people from Tijuana?
Yes, well, this is like a new social network, rich chocolatey goodness. I'm just
Okay.
I mean, that sounds horrible. I don't want to do that. I want to, yeah, a lot of people from Tijuana that are not living in Tijuana anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, all these people that I want to know what they're up to and just hear their stories.
You wanna make an announcement of who's gonna be coming to the next episode?
On the next episode, I need to speak with Miguel because I haven't spoken with him in a while. Same thing, like sometimes we chat, but we don't really speak. So, need to know what's going on. Marco, I don't really, same thing. I know he has his daughter and everything's going on, but I don't know what's going on inside his heart, you know? Beto, same thing. Beto, Beto bought my house. Well, not my house, my mom's house.
No, really.
Yeah, so he lives there now. That's really weird. He sends me pictures sometimes. He told me like,
of course he does.
yeah, he told me like, hey, I bought your Skyfall.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll talk to him later. Is there anything you want to plug, like a festival or something that's gonna come out like in 6 months?
Yeah, that's it. And keep following all my friends' social media to find out what's good in Tijuana and Rosarito and Ensenada. We're statewide now.
And now, the sign off. I'm not going to get into the whole boring description of the book, but the idea was that if you could move everybody's timelines so that anybody who has ever said rich, chocolatey goodness, if you could move it around so everybody says it at the same time, you could hear this enormous chorus of 1 million people saying rich, chocolatey goodness. So that's where I got the idea for this, you know?
Okay.
I want everybody that's on the show to say it, and each episode I'm going to edit it so that you hear the previous voice together, and eventually I'm going to have all my friends in this enormous chorus saying it together.
Okay, that's cool.
So if you could do that sign off, and then we'll finish.
So I have to say reach chocolate goodness again?
Yes.
This is so hard.
I know. And that's our episode. Thank you for listening. This has been
Rich chocolatey goodness.
That was good.
I think that was good.
All right. Thank you, Argenis.
Hey, thank you, Pedro.
Rich Chocolatey Goodness is produced by myself, Benjamin Morse, and my friend, Pedro Escobar. Special thank you to our guest, Argenis Garcia. Check out the original All My Friends Music Festival on Facebook and Instagram at All My Friends MF. Music by one of the truly great musicians to come out of Tijuana, Marco Moreno, with a little help from the worst drummer in his band's history. You can find photos and links to the music discussed in this episode on our Instagram and Facebook at Rich Chocolatey Goodness. Follow us to get all the rich, chocolatey updates, and subscribe on iTunes or Spotify for new goodness delivered to you every other Sunday. And if you like what you hear, please be sure to leave us a comment and rating.